Luckily and unfortunately, there is no superior authority in this world giving us permissions to be ourselves and to step forward to change the world. If I have waited for permission from others to take my stand, I would still be waiting for that permission. Stop being afraid. My dear graduates, what can I say to you on this special day? Today is your graduation day, and today when you close one chapter in your life to begin a new one. It is a turning point, a day of change. This is why I thought it might be a good day to talk about change and to approach this theme through my own experience. Ever since I was elected as the youngest Prime Minister in the world at the age of 34, I have repeatedly been asked two questions. Both are related to change. The first question is, did you always want to become a Prime Minister? The second question, how did you do it? I will now reflect on my own answers and share some thoughts to prepare you when you are asked similar questions in the future. My answer to the first question is, at a young age, I did not want to become a politician or a prime minister. It wasn't something that I had planned. The answer to the second question is that I eventually did because I wanted to change things, to change the world. And because I realized that it was also my responsibility, not only somebody else's. This is why I want to give you 3 pieces of advice about change. Advice number 1, you have the right to want things and want things to change. Advice number 2, wanting is not enough. To change things, you have to take over. And advice number 3, you have to stop being afraid. My first bit of advice is about wanting things to change. When I was in my early 20s, like many of you now, I started to feel passionately about politics. Not about the decision-making system, not about the idea of being elected politician. I started to feel passion for issues such as climate change, loss of biodiversity, human rights and the rights of minorities, gender equality and social justice. Things that I saw around me that I wanted to change. I'm sure that many of you here today can relate to that feeling. Coming from a rainbow family, I wanted to see a society where everybody could love whomever they wanted. I wanted to see renewed legislation on equal marriage and ensure human rights for all genders. I wanted to close the gender pay gap and wanted to see parents, mothers and fathers to share their family lives more equally so that women could follow their career ambition same as men. Coming from Finland, a northern European country with extraordinary nature, I wanted to stop climate change and see societies become more sustainable. I wanted to see transition towards carbon neutrality, and I wanted to end the destruction of our environment. No change can happen without the will. This is why my first advice to you today is that you are allowed to want things. And you need to want things to change for better. Dear class of 2023, my second piece of advice to you today is that it's also your responsibility to take over. The world is as complex as ever. Geopolitical changes going on in the world are questioning the values we believe in. Climate change and loss of biodiversity are threatening our very existence. These are challenges that need to be solved, And there's no one else to do that other than you. For decades, we have lived in a world with an optimistic expectations of progress. We have expected our values such as freedom of speech, rule of law, gender equality, and democracy to bloom hand in hand with the expansion of free market economy. We thought that globalization and growth would be enough to benefit everyone. We expected to see less authoritarian rule, more respect for diversity, and a better world that does not discriminate against people based on their skin tone, gender, sexual orientation, or religion. My third piece of advice to you, dear graduates, is about how. When I look back at my youth and career, I can see that actually one of the most significant things holding people back is fear. Sometimes it's fear of not knowing enough. It might be fear of embarrassment, fear of mistakes, fear of being wrong. It might be fear of not fitting in or fear of not meeting the expectations of others. It might be fear of being declared unworthy because of the way you look or talk and the way you express yourself. Luckily and unfortunately, there is no superior authority in this world giving us permissions to be ourselves and to step forward to change the world. If I have waited for permission from others to take my stand, I would still be waiting for that permission. This is why my key advice to you today is not actually an advice, but a task. Stop being afraid. My dear class of 2023, when you walk out of this stadium today, I want you to remember these three things. You have to want things to change. It is your turn to take over. And most importantly, don't be afraid. You are enough. You are capable. Together with others, you can do anything, and you must, because there's no one else to do it but you. Dear class, why am I telling you this? Why am I giving you these advices? Because there are not nearly enough women in leadership positions, not nearly enough young people, not nearly enough people from different backgrounds in our democratic decision-making systems. The face of the power is not the same as the face of the people, and this has to change. I also want things to change, but I cannot do it alone. I need you and others with me to make the world more equal, more sustainable, and more just. I know I'm not alone with this thought. I know many of you want the same, and together we can make it a reality. So, now we just have to do it.